On October 21st, 1967, 55 years ago this month, the first national protest against the Vietnam War was held at the Pentagon. Ann Hirschman Schremp was there. But she wasn't just a protester. She was a street medic, helping fellow protesters who needed medical attention, whether through bad luck or the actions of counter-protesters or police. In this video, Ann reveals the most fear she ever felt at a protest.
The most frightening place that I did medical care as a street medic, and that was part of my activism, was Wounded Knee, South Dakota. In the siege in 1973, the Native Americans on the Lakota Reservation at Wounded Knee called in the American Indian movement and to monitor an election because the people who had tried to run against the, I consider, corrupt tribal chairman at the time, kept winding up dead. And so therefore the folks at Wounded Knee called in the American Indian movement, and the American Indian movement contacted Medical Committee for Human Rights, and Medical Committee for Human Rights put out a call saying, anybody able to volunteer to go to Wounded Knee, we don't know for how long. And I was able to do that, and so I got called and they said, we'll fly you in. And I flew from then living in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, to South Dakota. Almost got arrested twice trying to get there. They were arresting people who were heading for Wounded Knee. They were arresting activists. On the way to Wounded Knee, I had to change planes in Chicago, and I was concerned that I might be arrested. So I called Vietnam Vets Against the War, who had an office in Chicago. And the reason that I got onto my next plane was because the two FBI agents on the plane with me were no match for the 50 guys who escorted me to the next plane. And so that's how I got to Wounded Knee. When I was in Wounded Knee, this was a shooting war. This was a siege. The FBI and other operatives who were sure the FBI was there, I don't know about the other operatives, were shooting in at us. They were claiming that people were shooting out of Wounded Knee towards them. I did medical. I took care of people who were hurt. And at one point, there was a firefight that was going on, and we got word that there was someone injured in the church building that was on Wounded Knee Res. I believe I was at the infirmary at the time, which was an eighth of a mile or so across the res. So we ran across the Wounded Knee reservation and into the church, where found a demonstrator who had been shot through the walls of the church and had a horrible head injury. The back of his head was virtually missing. And I was terrified. I was absolutely out of my depth, but I knew that I was the only one there. And so I had to find a way to stabilize this person, which I did through the grace of whatever gods there were, and my skills that I brought with me and what was in my belt pouch. And I was absolutely so focused on that I didn't even realize there were bullets still flying into that building. Got him stabilized. The runners came in. We tried to evacuate him. And as soon as we got out of the church, despite the white flag that the runners were carrying, we were shot at immediately, and were shot at even as we were attempting to evacuate him to safety, to get him to definitive care, which we finally were able to do. It was through a hail of bullets. That is the most terrifying event of my medic career.